My friends, Rachel Archelaus here. You're listening to the Multidimensional Human podcast. I have a cat on my lap, as usual. Very excited about that. She's poking her head up. Oh, there you go. You can see her a little bit if you're watching the video. This is Baby. And she's not happy that I'm talking, so we're off to a good start. I just came back from QuiltCon. It's a quilting convention. This year it was held in Phoenix, Arizona, and the keynote speaker, Tara Fonin, said something that really resonated with me and is the tie-in to all the things I want to talk about today. And she said, "You don't have to know what you're doing in order to do it. You don't have to know what you're doing in order to do it." She stumbled into that by trial and error, by doing things, a traditional way for a long time, by fucking up, by fixing things, by not fixing things. And I really love that she's reminding us that that's how things go. I read a lot of successful people's memoirs. I love reading how people got to where they got. How'd you find the career that you love? How did you find financial freedom? How did you find love and peace and fulfillment and happiness? And most people have no clue, right? They just stumbled into it. They got an opportunity and they went for it. And most of the time, they went against the advice of their friends and family. I'm thinking of Oprah, I'm thinking of Ina Garten, and there's probably a million more. I also find that usually there's like a moment of giving up. Molly Shannon talks about this in her book, where she'd been doing her one-person show for a while. It was really good. She was getting, sold out shows just from like hustle and like calling people and getting people in the seats, and they were enjoying it. She'd had a audition for SNL and didn't go anywhere. And so she was like, I can't keep doing this. Like, I just can't keep this up. And so she stopped, I think for like a year. And then a producer at SNL finally got her back there and she got it. The reason I'm bringing this up is because I realized the other day that I have been viewing my life all wrong. I've been so busy creating identities and then wondering why I don't feel right when I want to change things, feeling like a failure when I want to change things, when actually something really incredible has been happening. I'm not an entrepreneur because I wanted to be an entrepreneur. I'm not a business owner because I care about building a business. I'm a person who's had desires, who's then been given through thought or seeing someone else do something. I've been given the way to have my desire fulfilled, but I'm not actually supposed to stay anywhere, right? So I will explain, because that is definitely not going to make sense to anyone. But it totally changed how I see myself, and it's given me so much freedom and peace knowing that, oh yeah, I want to keep changing things up because I'm on a journey, and my journey's not over yet. And my pathway to get to where I want to go isn't staying where I was. It's moving me closer to where I want to be through this different avenue. So I think this ties into what we've been talking about my $100 million year that I was desiring. I think this goes into being multidimensional. I think it goes into being, having an identity of different things that we've been talking about. And so I cannot say for sure where we're going to end up today, but I'm actually really excited to talk about it, because I feel like if you resonate with this is going to be game changing for you, because it is for me. Like, I just feel so much more relaxed about my entire life than I ever have. And that that says a lot, because I can be pretty chill. But now I'm super chill, so watch out. Okay, let's go back to when I was 17 and I knew I wanted to be a laptop lifestyle person. I knew I needed to work for myself. That's how I phrased it. I need to work for myself because I didn't necessarily have a vision for an empire or anything. I just didn't want to have a boss, and I didn't want to be tied to any one place. I believe when I was 18, I bought a laptop on the phone from Dell. I bought this like 3-inch thick, 5-pound Dell notebook. And I remember them checking my credit on the phone and them being like, oh, hey, like, congratulations, you can get a super expensive laptop. And it was so funny that I bought that on the phone, but of course I didn't have a laptop to buy it on. And we had, a family computer, but things were different back then. This was a long time. This was 25 years ago. Anyway, it arrived in the mail and it had this really big chunky faux leather case, and the whole thing together was astronomically heavy. But it was a laptop. It eventually did melt. Yes, my laptop did eventually melt, but didn't they all back then? But I started a gift shop on that laptop. I probably had one of the original online businesses. It was called Sephyrus Gifts, and I had a Yahoo store. I made it myself with their, infrastructure, and it was really cool. I sold like painted flower pots and wooden things, and it was just all handmade stuff or like painted stuff that I had bought. And I do remember my first customer that wasn't someone I knew. They were from New Jersey. I will never forget having that order, printing that order, packing that pack, and just sending it off to someone I don't know. It was really, really cool. It's very much like having like a Squarespace store today, but it was just a lot less known. I did not make enough money to live off of, but it was something, and it made me feel good. Like I was doing something that I wanted to do. I was going somewhere. And that gift shop turned into a candle company, which turned into an Etsy store, which turned into an art store, like we're selling my art, and then all kinds of things. I've sold many a thing in my day, including quilts and screenplays and house sitting and pet sitting, and I've had over 40 jobs as well. So I've had a lot of self-employment, but I've also had a lot of people employment or business employment from other people. Whatever I needed in the moment, I got, right? I was very attractive to living not necessarily well, but I was never negative for long. Like if I needed new tires on my car, I had just enough money after a panic attack to fix my car. If I needed to pay rent, I would be able to pay it. Somebody would buy a painting or something, and I'd be able to pay rent right before it would be late. It wouldn't be on time, but it wouldn't necessarily be late. So I lived like that for a really long time, and I usually had a couple jobs while I was in my 20s, as well as doing my own thing online. There was a point when I kind of upgraded my desire. I remember I was still married, and I had been blogging for a while, and I had one of those blogger blogs that I still have. It's still there. I was very active on it, just painting and drawing and poetry and prose and just like expressing my little heart out. And that gave me a lot more self-confidence. So I think the reason that I'm alive is to experience self-expression. Like I've always felt like that. A lot of the self-employment that I've had has been about self-expression, whether that's through teaching or writing or art or quilting or, whatever, coaching. It's me getting to experience being me in a different way, and I think that's really fun. So I definitely know my lane, my drive, but that can take so many different approaches. It can, different outcomes. Once I decided, after blogging, after kind of starting to do readings for people at a local wellness center, I felt like, yes, this is me. I'm back in my life. I'm here. I'm not just an employee. I'm not just a wife. I'm not just a daughter. I'm me, and I love that. That's when I really started thinking, what if I could do my own thing full time? What if I could do that? And I realized it's not just going to happen. I have to do something. I have to learn something. I have to do something differently. And that's really when I went online as a business. Like, yes, I had a candle company. Yes, I had a gift shop. Yes, I was doing all these other things, but I never approached it like a business where I would like overcome obstacles. You know, like the minute I'd have to call someone and talk to someone, I'm out. I'm not doing that, you know? But I realized like if I take some classes on marketing or business or whatever I need to learn, maybe I can be like an online psychic and writer. And so I started a blog about my new psychic business, and I started offering sessions online. I remember, again, my first international customer, she was from New Zealand, and she was so cool, and I loved working with her, and some local people started signing up and coming to me instead of like me only seeing people at the bookstore, the wellness center. And it started to work, and people liked my blog posts, and my little email newsletter was growing. And I remember having like 44 people on my newsletter, and someone said that once you get to 5,000 people on your list, you can make like $100,000 a year. And I just thought to myself, oh my God, I could not even imagine that. That is so far away. Now I have double that, and if I never cleaned my list up, I would have 100,000 people on my list. And so it's like, wow, you know, you never think you're going to get somewhere, and then you do, and it's like your new normal. It doesn't even impress you anymore. But at the time, everything felt so new. I had no idea what marketing really meant before I even started those classes. And I still talk to some of those people in that initial class that I took, which is so fun. When that started, I think I developed this idea that, okay, I'm a business person now, right? And I need to do these business things. Instead of what I really wanted was to just work for myself. And I accomplished that because I got the idea that I could do it full time. And there's a real distinction there. And I always felt it, and I always sort of expressed that, but I was met with resistance. Like I was doing it wrong. Like staying small wasn't the right way to go. Like having your needs met wasn't enough. And I definitely felt into that too. I took that on in a way. I'm still overcoming that because I am a big thinker. But the thing is, if I want more, it can come like everything else has. Like when I needed a job and I posted my resume and then someone called me the next day with a job. When I wanted to go full time, and so I was like, oh, let me take this class. And then I made more money than I ever had, and I got lots of clients from even my peers in that class. Like if I ever need something, it comes to me, but it doesn't necessarily come through the channel that you think it needs to. Like my whole life isn't about growing my business and making more money. And I'm slowly taking myself out of that because that's what everyone thinks you need to do. And the big realization that I had is tied to that. It's like, I have been in a process for years now. See, it's still in my throat. It's caught in there. Of moving away from one of my businesses. Actually, let's just say all of them. Let's say all of them at this point. I have been in a process of moving away from all of my businesses and focusing more on writing and art. It's been going okay, but I've also been hit with a lot of resistance because there's so many reasons. One of them is that I think I was afraid of being called flighty or flaky, or like I was blowing things up. Like I stopped following this person, but there is a well-known person in like the self-help money sphere who calls it like blowing up your business. And there's this certain archetype of people who tend to do that. I'm not even that archetype in her little quiz, but just because someone wants to change something or do something different doesn't mean they're blowing something up. I just feel like that's so harsh. But that's a common thing, right? If you change your mind, if you want to do something different, I think of Erin of Floret. She has a very well-known, one of the first like farmer florists, is a very big farm out in, I believe, Washington State. They first did bouquets that they sold at farmers markets and local shops, and then they were selling their courses. They went to bee school. They were interviewed by Marie Forleo for that, and then they decided not to sell flowers, and they were only like selling seeds. And then changing it up all the time. And I really relate to her because she's doing what she wants to do with her business and her time. She's doing all these passion projects like making online libraries about seed collecting and cataloging old roses, and like she's using her team for the things that she's really passionate about. And why is that wrong? I understand that if you're a venture-backed company and your whole desire is to grow, awesome, great, do it. If your intention isn't that, then don't do that. And I think for a long time, I've been sort of forcing myself to do that. There's a little part of me that wants to do that, but really, that's not my goal. Like, my life's mission is self-expression, and I feel like I got what I needed to get out of these businesses. It's just that I've gotten so much negative feedback for that decision, for that part of me. And I respect the people who've said things like that to me. And so I was really like trying to think for all this time, like, is it me? Am I being too hasty? Am I wrong? Like, should I stick it out? I know that perseverance is a virtue, and maybe it's something that you learn as an adult, and I need to learn. And so like all of this overthinking has happened, but when I come back to me and thinking, when does my life the best? When do I thrive? When do I make the best decisions? When do things come to me effortlessly? It's when I just do what I want to do. It's not when I'm overthinking it. It's not when I'm second guessing myself. It's just when I do what I want to do. And that's never steered me wrong. Even when I have been, making very controversial decisions. So I realized the other day that what has happened to me over the years is exactly what I needed to happen. The decisions that I've made to move on or change or update or downgrade or whatever, they've all been met with the opportunity to help me get to where I want to go. Whether that's start a new business, whether it's to close a business, whether it's to move, I was going to say countries. I've never moved countries, to move states. And do you get what I'm trying to say? I'm not a business person because I'm a business person. I became a business person because that was my path of least resistance to have the life that I desired. I didn't have the financial freedom at the time to not work. And so the path of least resistance for me was to start a business and to grow a business and to change that business and to focus on other things and to, morph it and whatever. I've done that so many times, but it's all been in service to my life's desire. I'm not a slave to the thing. Life works for me. That is what I got to. Life works for me. And that is what I teach, and that is what I coach, and realizing that, like, in so few words, that is everything. That is attraction. That's manifestation. That's all the things we want. And it's the thing that people doubt the most. It's fear gets in the way of knowing that. And I think that's why I couldn't articulate it so well for myself until now, because I'm not afraid anymore. I'm not afraid of, quote unquote, blowing up my business. I'm not afraid of putting things down. I'm not afraid of changing my identity and not being a business person anymore. Technically, I probably always will be, because even being an artist and a writer, you're still like your own business person. But still, I'm able to put that down. I don't need to be that. I don't need to have that identity in order to feel any certain way. It feels so good. Life works for me. The other thing is like, okay, where does this $100 million a year desire come in? Well, to me, it makes sense that if I want to manifest something so big, it would take a radical change from what I was doing. What is going to work? A reconnecting with my truth? Yes. Doing what is most natural and exciting to me? Yes. Like, I'm looking at my Project Gold Star intuitive art drawing right now, and look at it. It's alive, it's electric, it's buzzing with creativity and focus and expression, you know? And then there's this gold egg in there surrounded by my censorship color. So it's going to take me getting out of my shell and busting through what I'm afraid to talk about and going for the gold. And that, yes, that's like exactly what I want. Doing exactly what I want, exactly what feels exciting and amazing, well, that's what $100 million feels like too, right? So again, law of attraction, feeling how I want to feel will bring me what I want. So this feels like a $100 million life, regardless of whether I have $100 million. But that's exactly when $100 million is going to show up for me. And so this is perfect. So once again, I have a desire. I am given the idea, the nudge, the validation to go for it. And that's when life shows up for me. And so I hope this makes sense. I hope that you can take something from this, even if it's just from that Tara quote of, you don't have to know what you're doing in order to do it. I have not known what I'm doing through any of this. None of it. I didn't know how to make a store. I didn't know how to sell things. I didn't know how to be a teacher. I didn't know how to be a coach. I didn't know how to be a publisher. I didn't know how to write a book. I didn't know how to support myself. I didn't know how to go full time. I didn't know how to get any of the jobs I got. I had a desire, and I let myself be guided. And I decided to feel good, and I decided that I'm worthy of feeling good. And that's all I needed. I am not special. I mean, I am, but so are you. We're not different in our specialness. We're all special. And you have the same connections that I have. Law of attraction works the same way for everyone, just like gravity. That's my story for today. We're still gonna await that $100 million, and I'm sort of excited that this is the pathway. Like, of course it is. Of course I had to be happier, more self-expressed, more relaxed, because that's how I would feel with $100 million. So whatever you're wanting, ask yourself, how would it feel? And let yourself be guided there. And acknowledge when you're guided there, because it's really fun. It's so fun to have these discoveries. And I'm going to happily let go of those identities and just know, like, life works for me. Life works for me. I don't work for life. And that is how we will end today, except that I'm going to plug myself. I am ramping up my Substack. If you'd like to be a paid member, you get some perks. You get a monthly Q&A with Intimate Alien. She'll answer your question, either written or recorded, however she feels like doing it. So you can submit a question, and she'll answer that for you. Intimate Alien is a Pleiadian being, and she's really, really great. You also get to see my books before they come out. I released my pilot screenplay about living in a haunted house, so you could go back and read that. I just released a book called We Are a Galaxy that I'm releasing this year, and you could read that ahead of time. So those are some pretty big perks. You also get the occasional just like exclusive post. It's really fun. It's $8 a month, or you can pay yearly and save some money. So if you're interested in that, follow the link to my Substack if you're not here already, and just become a paid subscriber. It really helps. It really, really, really helps. And thank you. I really, really appreciate everyone, all my subscribers, including my paid ones. Thank you so much. All right, that's it for Multidimensional Human today. I will talk to you soon. Lots and lots of love. Bye.